If I would have known, I would have killed the man myself and been in jail for killing him for hurting my babies.
The Fargo man, accused of forcing himself on 2 young girls and making them drink his bodily fluids, will likely spend the rest of his life in jail.
49-year-old Todd Meyer was sentenced to 60 years in prison this morning, along with 40 years of supervised probation for gross sexual imposition and child neglect. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley was the only reporter in court today and spoke exclusively with Meyer's ex-wife.
Details of this case, quote, haunt and disgust him to no end. We learned back in February, Meyer and his wife at the time were guardians of the 2 girls under the age of 10. Court documents saying Meyer sexually assaulted both victims, as well as forced them to drink his bodily fluids and watch sex tapes. Now, both victims are now in custody with Child Protective Services, and today I talked with Meyer's ex-wife, who says that's not fair, as police never found she was involved in Meyer's crimes.
All they're doing is victimizing the girls even more. Because my girls, they should know that I would never let anybody hurt them.
Doman says at the time of the crimes, Meyer wasn't only the girls' caretaker, but hers as well, as she suffers from MS, a statement that was also backed up in court this morning. And Doman says when cops came knocking on her door last winter, she was blindsided, saying she had no idea what was going on under her roof.
Any man that would hurt a child deserves to either be in jail or put down like a bad dog.
Doman says she feels like CPS is punishing her for Meyer's horrific crimes, adding she doesn't think she'll see the young girls ever again. And she says although that breaks her heart, she says she does feel like justice has been served because Meyer can't hurt anyone else's child.
If I had my way, what he did to the girls, I would have somebody do to him and let him feel what he's caused, because he'll never feel the pain that I feel or the pain that those girls feel for the rest of their lives.
Meyer did make a brief statement to the court this morning saying, quote, I fully regret and fully apologize to my family. Mike, Andrea.
Thanks, Bailey. Meyer is not eligible for parole until 2059.
A Netchie, North Dakota man has been sentenced to 60 years in prison for sexually exploiting minors, extortion, and possessing and distributing child porn. Authorities say over a period of 2 years, Brandon Bjornstead coerced hundreds of children to send him sexually explicit images and videos on various social media platforms. Investigators also say Bjornstead then shared the images with others.
So much for enjoying the warmth. It's been cold and windy all day. Here's Hutch with your no-wait weather. Hutch?
Well, we are going in the right direction temperature-wise. We've warmed all the way up from a low near 0 degrees this morning, 2 below actually, to the low 20s, but it came with those winds gusting to 40 miles per hour. That was our peak gust in Fargo, 38 mile per hour gusts in Grand Forks. We've warmed to the low 20s in the eastern third of North Dakota, still in the teens though in central Minnesota, so wind chilly this evening. And now on top of that, flakes are in the forecast as we head through the evening. So hit and miss light flurries of snow mainly after midnight, and temperatures in the 20s for most of us. So steady temperatures in Grand Forks as well. Some of us will have a potentially slippery commute in the morning. I'll have details in hour by hour style what you can expect for your morning commute and the rest of our work week here in just a few moments.
All right, thanks, Hutch.
A Minnesota man is in jail tonight after a police chase and manhunt earlier today. When authorities tried pulling over Devin Ludwig for erratic driving, he took off. The 24-year-old from Lake Park, Minnesota, is facing a number of charges, including fleeing a motor vehicle. Police set up a perimeter, and some people were surprised at the early morning chaos in their neighborhood.
It's kind of strange, you know. I mean, people do crazy things all the time and whatnot, you know, but to see it happen this close to college or, you know, the MSU area and whatnot, you know, it's very, very, very weird.
MSUM Public Service says if you don't feel safe walking around campus alone, you can give them a call and ask for a ride. Their phone number is 218-477-2449.
A Fargo man has been charged with harassment after calling 911 more than 50 times in a month. Authorities say Mohammed told dispatchers that if police showed up, he would shoot them. This isn't Mohammed's first time getting into legal trouble for calling 911. In 2017, he faced similar charges for calling dispatchers to complain about President Trump and said he supported ISIS. Those charges were dismissed after a plea agreement.
Photos have been released of the man believed to have robbed a Dilworth liquor store last night. If you think you know who this individual is, give Dilworth police a call. The robbery happened at Trax Liquors on Center Avenue around 9:45. An employee told us the robber had a gun, no one was hurt, and the man ran off with what was said to be a lot of money.
A Grand Forks man will spend 6 years in prison after pleading guilty to attempted murder, criminal mischief, and stalking. It happened in September of last year. A woman told officers Akmal Azizov tried to cut her throat with a knife. He told police the woman was a witch and responsible for the stress and negativity in his life. The two briefly dated. Authorities say Azizov had been plotting to kill the woman for about 3 weeks.
FargoCast Public Health is setting the record straight about a mouse being found inside a shake. Someone posted on Facebook saying that they got this shake from a North Fargo McDonald's one night, left it by their bedside, and woke up to find a mouse in it. Other local media reported the situation. Well, FargoCast Public Health says a pest inspection determined that the mouse did not come from the restaurant.
Stutsman County's roads suffered more than $4 million in damage this fall. The county's emergency manager says that figure comes from assessments completed by all 62 townships in the county. Heavy rains and flooding, along with freezing temperatures, damaged the roads, and with winter conditions, they're going to stay that way.
In terms of trying to repair anything, it becomes impossible. If there were some repairs done early on before we got to these temperatures that we're in now, there might have been some minor repairs, but the major stuff, there's no way it can be done until next year.
And the money may not even come through to fix the roads at that time. Bergquist says that will come from a presidential disaster declaration, which has not yet been issued.
American Crystal Sugar's fall sugar beet harvest is over. The cooperative says the harvest ended Saturday. It's not releasing how many acres were left unharvested. Heavy rains, low temps made it impossible to get some of the sugar beets out of the frozen ground.
North Dakota took another step forward today in ending the stigma around addiction. Today, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum and First Lady Catherine Burgum hosted the third annual Recovery Reinvented event. Some attendees say the First Lady's story of overcoming addiction is inspiring, helps them fight their own battles, and gives them the courage to speak about their journeys.
For being on the streets, I've done prison, I've done all that, and the only thing that's got me sober is through the AA program and places like this and stories like hers.
It makes me feel comfortable that I can come out and speak, being who I am and not have to hide nothing.
The Office of Recovery Reinvented was created after an executive order made by Governor Burgum. The Burgums say they hope it stays around long after his term as governor because it's a health care crisis.
Later on Valley News Live at 6, another black eye for Facebook involving privacy.
Well below average temperatures today in Fargo, 20 the high, 2 below the morning low, missing a record by only 5 degrees. Grand Forks, we started the day at 1 above. Warmer weather is right around the corner. We'll have details on some growing pains between now and that warmer weather next.